Hey team leaders, welcome to this culminating project video number 4. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. I really appreciate each one of you stepped up to become a leader of a team for the culminating project. It's a big job and I really appreciate each one of you. You know, people become team leaders for many different motivations. Sometimes people step up into leadership because they like being in control. Sometimes they do it because they just have a gift, Other times they do it because nobody else will. Sometimes they do it here in a school or class setting because they want to guarantee that they can get a good grade. Other times, people genuinely want to serve others. There's a lot of things that motivate us to be team leaders, and it might be a combination of many of these things. Maybe you're a people person who loves to work with others on a team. That's valid. Well, I want to talk to you for just a minute about a very important aspect of being a leader, and that is Jesus' example of being a servant leader. In Mark 10, he talks to his disciples, and he says, "You know that those who are recognized as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men exercise authority over them. But it is not so among you. But whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever wishes to be first among you shall be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many." That's really the heart of Christian leadership, is serving. And I hope that as we move forward and you're working with your teams, that you'll step up and be willing to serve your team members. The Passion Translation says this about Philippians 2:3. "Be free from pride-filled opinions, for they will only harm your cherished unity. Don't allow self-promotion to hide in your hearts, but in authentic humility, put others first and view others as more important than yourselves." That's your task, leaders, to put others first and view others as more important than yourselves. Now, we're at the beginning of this culminating project, and your teams have just formed. Some of these people you know well, some not so well. And it's at this crucial point at the beginning, when you're deciding on your project, that I really want you to focus on being a team leader who serves their members. Let me be specific. The very best leaders are those who genuinely care for other people and strive to bring out the best in others. And in order to do this, I challenge you to try and contact every single team member on your team during these first 2 weeks and ask them these 2 questions. What would make the culminary project most meaningful for you? And ask, what would make the culminating project more difficult for you? Try to remember what's important to them and what they're not looking forward to, what they would find really difficult. And do what you can to make that happen. You might not be able to do both, but if you can do even one of the two things, if you can stretch that project to encompass something they really want to do, or if they hate meetings, if you can have short meetings that are stay on target, stay on an agenda rather than long meetings, you would be showing that you listen to them, that you genuinely care, that you want this project to be something that has something for everybody. So that's the challenge. In the next 2 weeks, please try to connect with each of your team members. Be genuinely interested. Find out about them. Find out what would make the project more meaningful for them. Ask what would make the project more difficult, what they don't want to see happen. So then you are embarking in this time of investigating your target audience, your community, learning about them, and then you're coming back together in that 4th week to share your ideas about what you learned. And here we have a picture of that leadership meeting, right, where you're going to join and talk with your advisor about the coming project. You've got, hopefully can pull together your vision for that project in this meeting with your advisor. Now, both of those meetings happen in the 4th week. I know that's a lot. I just didn't want to put anything in the 5th week because if you have to study for exams on that 6th night, if you have to write a paper, I didn't want you to be overloaded with work. So I was trying to keep your 5th last week before your very last class, where there's sometimes finals and projects, free. But the only time constraint is that you need to get your project plan done by the 6th and final class. So I wanted to show you what this project plan looks like because it's pretty simple. This is what your culminating project description form looks like. You're basically putting down information about who's on your team and your advisor and when you're graduating, and then you're answering. You're doing 3 descriptions. You're going to describe the situation or the setting of your project, talking about your target audience and what are their needs. Then you're going to be talking about your vision or goals, and then you're going to talk about your plan of activity, some of the things you think you're going to do in order to accomplish your vision or goals. So you can see it's not a big report. It's pretty straightforward, describing these 3 things: the situation, vision or goals, and the plan of activity. So that wraps up this 2nd term. I'm really counting on you, leaders, to step up and serve your team, grow in that grace as leaders. If there's any way I can help you, contact me. My data is in this last slide and also is part on your project syllabus. I'll be praying for you. May God bless you as you start on an amazing adventure when you become active working on the culminating project.